can you tell a difference in these just straight right off the bat? I haven't changed any settings, haven't messed with the brightness. Hey, it's Chris. As you can see, got a lot of great stuff to unbox here. I'm gonna be unboxing the new iPad Air, the new iPad Pro, the accessories. So I'm gonna show you what's all in the box, give you my first reactions to seeing these things here outside of the Apple event. But I'm actually gonna save unboxing and demonstrating these for a separate video. And really, this is gonna be a part 1 of 2 video because I'm gonna do all the unboxing right now, but then I'm gonna go through and test out all the new features in a first reactions sort of a video. So as you can see, I got the 2TB iPad Pro, the 13-inch with the M4, it's Wi-Fi plus cellular, along with the 1TB iPad Air, also 13-inch, it's the M2, also cellular. And honestly, like Chandler, could I be any more happy about these? No. Let's start with the Air. I was really impressed by these, honestly, when I was at the event. A lot of people are just gonna assume, oh, it's not the Pro, so there's nothing to get excited about. Well, that's not true at all. Not only is there lots to be excited about, but there's lots to test out here as well. As you can see, very simple packaging, of course. We've got the USB-C and the charger here, and that's about it. One thing that's new this year, no stickers included in the boxes. And also, if you didn't catch it, the wallpaper here actually spells out Air. And same thing goes for the Pro wallpaper as well, P-R-O. I actually saw someone complaining about how uncreative that was. I thought, what are they talking about? I really like the wallpapers here. There's that blue. This is a very different blue. You would get the feeling from the box that it was gonna kind of be this color here, but it's not really any of those colors. I feel like we're dealing with a really subtle blue here. What do you think? I like that. It's sort of understated, which I actually like. I think if you're gonna do the blue, don't go overboard. That is super nice looking. Really a fan of that color there. Set this aside for just a second and let's bring out the Pro. I feel like I've been waiting my whole life for this unboxing right here. It's been a while since we had, I guess, what a lot of people are calling a meaningful update to the iPad. I've seen a lot of spec bumps, and we knew that what was coming with this iPad was coming with the OLED and whatnot. And you can really tell from the people who are making comments like, oh, this was a boring update, that they don't use the iPad like it was intended to be used, probably. Oh yeah. All right, there's that space black. I like it. Got the same very simple packaging here, but you can see I've got a matching cable here. It's braided, so it's gonna pair perfectly with the actual iPad itself. You gotta love these braided cables. I'm glad they switched because they're just so much more durable. All right, so here's what the two 13 inches are looking like side by side. Obviously, very similar. This is thinner. It's not the Air, but it's thinner. Very curious to know what your thoughts are on these two. A lot of people are just going to want or need the Air, while there's several people who are all in on the Pro. That would be me. There was some speculation that we might see different connectors this year. No, we still have the same connector that connects to, the Magic Keyboard, but these are two completely different Magic Keyboards now. The Air is using the old Magic Keyboard design, and the new iPad Pros, that's where everything good debuts and then trickles down, right? Has the new aluminum Magic Keyboard with the function keys. Really excited to get that unboxed. Clearly some differences in the camera setup, and the Pro, it lost one of its lenses, one of its cameras this year, but I think that's okay. It's a trade-off I think almost everybody is universally happy with. By the way, if you're as excited about these as I am, let me just say, I'm celebrating, I'm helping you celebrate by giving you 50% off all of my courses, from the productivity course to the new freeform course. All of them, they're linked up down below with the coupon code. But here they are side by side, the two big beasts, obviously nice and thin, obviously nice and light as well. I'm gonna get this question, so I'm just gonna answer it right now. Can I tell the difference holding these in my hand, like which one is lighter? I think I actually can barely tell, but I gotta think about it. Visually, I can absolutely see the difference. It's crazy. If they made the iPad Pro any thinner, I feel like the USB-C port just about wouldn't fit. That's how thin we're getting here. All right, let's see if we got any battery in these. Do the first power on. Apple actually didn't send me the nano texture display. This is the standard glass, it looks like. But that's okay, because I know there's gonna be people out there who want to know what it's like, just the regular version. So, hello, we're up and running. Now, can you tell a difference in these just straight right off the bat? I haven't changed any settings, haven't messed with the brightness. This is what the two screens are looking like right out of the box, right? Check out that metal edging there. That's about as much color as you're gonna see on the Air when this is mounted on a keyboard. Now, this is where the 13-inch really starts to shine, okay? During the setup, you get to change the appearance. You can do small, default, medium, or large. I'm gonna keep it at default. We're gonna mess around a lot with the different settings, display zoom, and all of that, and really show the difference between what an 11-inch, which I've got sitting over here, and the 13-inch actually looks like. Oh, you know, it's weird. I can notice a difference in the speakers just from typing in the Wi-Fi password. That is weird. It's like the Pro is just that much more refined. It's interesting. Now these are cellular. The cellular is activating right now. And so I'm gonna take this out and actually do some testing. I know a lot of people are interested in that aspect. By the way, whatever questions you have for either of these devices, drop them down in the comments and I'll try to get those answered. Real quick, let me just say, different people use their iPads in different ways. If you wanna optimize your iPad Pro experience for the new Apple Pencil Pro, then check out today's sponsor, Paperlike, whose screen protector features proprietary nanodots. They're tiny microbeads that are designed to add paper-like resistance for Apple Pencil users, since it appears like Apple's new nano texture is geared more towards color management in bright situations rather than pencil usage. So if you want a truly pro Apple Pencil Pro experience, I'm gonna link that up for you down in the description. I'm actually glad that we're setting these up together, whichever one you might be interested in, because there's clearly a difference when you're going through this. We have Face ID versus Touch ID. And a lot of people would look at these and be like, oh, they're both 13 inches, very similar dimensions, you know, well, what's really the difference? There are some differences. Both of these have pros and cons. I actually don't have anything against Touch ID. It's worked well for me over the years. So as I'm scanning my fingerprint in here, which is primarily the finger that I'll use, I also will scan in my palm print, because if I'm holding it like this, I want to be able to activate it that way as well. And that has worked in the past, at least on the Mini. It's pretty convenient to be able to use this for payments, for authentication, of course. But then Face ID, as I get that set up, that is my favorite. I prefer it. It's a little bit faster, smoother for me. And anyways, a lot of the time I'm just using my Apple Watch for acknowledging things, you know, for logging in. Now this is interesting. It's having me rotate so that I'm in landscape, because of course the camera has changed. The camera is up on the top now instead of on the side. So when you're using this on the Magic Keyboard, it's horizontally positioned, which everyone wanted for the longest time. And now that finally came. And I have to say, Apple is really good at listening to people and putting in the things that they know people want. Maybe not as quickly as everyone would like, but they do get there eventually. I'm thinking about external display support. I'm thinking about better multitasking. Wow, this is nice and thin. People have been asking me like, well, what if you accidentally sit on it? I don't accidentally sit on my iPads. That's not something I'm actually worried about. Can I just tell you while these are loading up that the OLED screen in person really did wow me. I mean, like, I noticed it, and obviously the pictures, the videos that were being demoed were geared towards showing it off, but so what? I mean, I wanted to see what it was capable of, how it looked. And honestly, if you're wondering, before I've even loaded up and reacted to it, it looked really great in person. I don't know if you can see this, but I can see it right off the bat here. Absolutely, there's a difference in the screens. This is the perspective that I'm seeing, and even through the lens here, I know you can tell the difference because I'm seeing the difference, okay? The Air looks good. It doesn't look bad, not at all. But this OLED here, you can just tell it's brighter, it's a higher quality. I mean, if you're looking for the best, the most luxurious experience, without a doubt, you can notice it. So that's very satisfying. This isn't one of those updates on the Pro where you're like, is it really gonna make a big difference? OLED, you know, it's old technology. We've been hearing about it in TVs for the longest time. iPhone has had OLED for a long time, but it's nice to have this just jump right off the screen at you and be like, okay, that is a noticeable big difference. Now let's go ahead and get the keyboards unboxed. So the black keyboard here is the Pro, the aluminum. The white one is the older Magic Keyboard that's gonna go with the Air. At the event, I really noticed this, but you can see the angle is different here, even in the way they're displaying this on the box. This is kind of more straight up, and it's a little more bent here. That changed because we have the row of function keys, and you had to be able to reach in and type without hitting anything. So I'm really looking forward to testing out the usage. Like, how does it work day to day, just for typing emails and for actually accessing things like changing the volume or the contrast or enabling dictation. Now, this Magic Keyboard for the iPad Air, it's not new technology. You know, it's what the pros were using until just a couple days ago. So this is Pro up to a few days ago, and now it's still Pro, but it's just trickling down the lineup a little bit. That's what I was saying in one of my recent videos. When you get the Airs, that's nice and satisfying. This is such a great setup. When you get an Air, it's not a non-Pro product. What it is, it's kind of like an aged cheese or wine, right? It's a little bit older. This is the Pro experience from the recent iPad Pros. And I gotta tell you, I love the typing experience. I've been saying that for years. There's somebody else, I won't name him, you might know him, and he was telling me that he hated the typing experience. He didn't like it. I was just flabbergasted. I didn't understand because I love the key travel. I love how punchy it is. I love the way it sounds. Maybe the only thing I don't like is just the weight. It's kind of heavy, but the trackpad is amazing. Clicks in all the corners, nice and satisfying as well. All right, but let's get to the new one. I know that's what everyone's most interested in. It's funny, this one didn't come wrapped in plastic, but it had little tabs that you rip off. Seriously, to me, the accessories are almost as exciting as the iPad itself. I know that seems weird, but I use this so often. Ooh, oh, I'm liking the feel of this for sure. Wow, that feels premium. For everybody who is really interested in the Bridge keyboard from a while back, this is what you wished the Bridge was. It's the Apple version, the official version. Look at that nice trackpad, it's huge. Look at that, let's compare the trackpads a little bit. You're getting an upgraded trackpad experience, it's bigger. And that is better sometimes when you're dragging stuff around. That was one complaint that people had about the old Magic Keyboard was like, you know, this could be a little bit bigger. Now it is bigger and it's haptic. So right now I can't press it, but as soon as I add the actual iPad, wow, I can notice how thin that is right there. Then all of a sudden, yeah, there it is, it's powered and I can feel that haptic feedback, really cool. All right, so here these two are sitting side by side. You can notice that if I line the screens up there, this keyboard actually sticks out a little bit versus the other. And that's just due to the angle here, which they changed in order to make this function row of keys more accessible. You can tell just looking down here, you're not gonna have a hard time. You're not gonna be hitting your fingers as you press these. So isn't that crazy? They fit this row of function keys in and made the trackpad bigger, and it all came together without, it looks like, any annoyances. I'm gonna flip these on their side now, so hopefully you can see top down. We do have a charging port on both Magic Keyboards. It isn't Thunderbolt or anything like that. It's just to passively charge while leaving the port open on the iPad itself, which is great. That's been working out really well for me. I like that setup. But I will say that the new Magic Keyboard does charge a little faster through that port than the old one. I do want to point out that this material is sort of what you have on the outside of the case here. And I think that's a good thing. It's not all aluminum. And the reason that I really like that is because when I set this down places, then I'm not worried about scratching up the aluminum like you might be with your Mac. Even on the other side, when I'm putting it in my backpack when I was just on this trip to New York, I had lots of issues with potentially scratching stuff. The hinge is still metallic, okay? So that might end up getting a little bit scratched if you're not careful with it. But that's not gonna be you. You're gonna be careful, I know. It's good stuff, it's looking good. You can see that little pop of color kind of there. It looks a little white from this angle on the blue iPad Air there. All right, so we got things unboxed. I'm really excited for the actual experience of checking out all the new features for the first time right here in the studio. So that's gonna be part 2. Make sure you stick around for that right after this. Don't forget to check out the courses. They're all 50% off right now to celebrate the launch of the new iPads, Freeform Unleashed, Learning to be Productive, and others. Check them out, linked up down below. Get yourself some new wallpapers. Those are linked up too. They've been selling like crazy, and I'll catch you in the next video. Later.